The next Battlefield game is filled to the brim with new content, never before seen in the series. Well, that's a lie. We actually have Conquest and Breakthrough as part of the All Out Warfare playlist, but besides them, we have brand new stuff to sink our teeth into, like Battlefield Portal, this crazy fan creator tool that lets players make whatever sort of Battlefield experience they want to. Do you hate the new specialists but enjoy the other 2042 content? Well, that's okay. You can just load up the Battlefield 3 classes on the new maps. Are historical shooters your jam? Well, great. Portal offers tons of 1942 content as well. Honestly, Portal was revealed a little too soon in my opinion. I feel as though the marketing should have gradually built up to Portal just before launch. The reveal back in June was great, and then EA Play's Portal trailer was insane too, but the quiet period followed by the launch delay and then the lackluster reveal of Hazard Zone isn't exactly the sort of excitement level I think EA should be aiming for, with just a few weeks left before the game comes out. I feel like they should have shown off Hazard Zone at EA Play and Portal in August or something. But hey, that's beside the point. The game is full of fun modes and content that we really aren't very far away from playing. What I want to discuss today is whether or not we've been shown everything. Now, I mean, we have barely seen most of the launch maps and weapons, and apparently this week we'll see the remaining 5 specialists, but I'm referring to 2022. Okay, bear with me a second. A couple of months back, EA's CEO Andrew Wilson said this during an investor call. You should understand that this really forms the foundation for what we believe the future of a live service around Battlefield is, which over time will include a mobile launch, will include some free-to-enter components, and really change the nature of what happens from launch to launch. It was that free-to-enter components comment that was initially picked up by the players. And for a long time, I think because of that quote, people had it in their heads that Battlefield 2042 would feature some form of free-to-play element. But let's actually break it down. Supreme Overlord Wilson referred to free-to-enter components. He didn't outright say free-to-play. Honestly, I don't really know what free-to-enter components might mean either. Like usual, the executives slap us in the face with some crazy phrases and lingo that is intentionally used, so we're left guessing what they're actually saying. What is clear is that Wilson isn't only referring to Battlefield 2042 in this quote. Instead, he is referring to the Battlefield brand. So these free-to-enter components could be related to Battlefield Mobile, if he doesn't mean Battlefield Mobile itself, which I'd imagine will be free when it launches. Aside from that, my own personal guess as to what Wilson means here is something along the lines of what we saw with Battlefield 1. Now, Battlefield 1 was the last game to use the premium season pass model of releasing content, and you could see at the time that the developers at DICE tried their very best to mitigate the effects of premium by hosting free-to-play weekends, premium trials, and premium friends, each allowing non-premium players to play the new DLC. This is what I'd expect to happen with 2042. Free-to-play weekends that give everyone access to Conquest on a selection of maps or something similar. I mean, Wilson could technically be referring to Portal in a way, since the Portal editor is web-based and accessible to anyone. You don't actually need to own a copy of 2042 to create your own experience in Portal. It'd be really sneaky wording if this is what he was referring to, but I don't think so, because at a pre-reveal creator event, I took part in a questions and answers panel with some of the lead developers working on Battlefield 2042. One of the questions asked was in relation to a free-to-play mode for Battlefield 2042 specifically. The answer we were given was, quote, nothing to share today, but more announcements later on. Now, this Q&A took place in June, so again, with all things in game development, maybe plans changed and something that was intended to be free-to-play was altered to be behind the game's own paywall instead. Or maybe there's more content to come further down the line. Hazard Zone was long rumored to be the free-to-play element of the game hinted at here, but of course, with its reveal last week, we now know it is only offered as part of the full 2042 package, along with Portal and All Out Warfare. The general reception to this and Hazard Zone in general has been pretty positive, though there is a major outcry online calling for Hazard Zone to go free to play as a means of enticing players to buy the full game. Obvious comparisons are being made to Battlefield 5's Firestorm Royale mode, whereby locking the mode behind the game's paywall all but certainly led to its downfall. I mean, the mode never received any significant updates after it shipped anyway, but it not being free to play definitely played a big part in it losing attention, especially when you consider all of the competition is free to play. Though for me personally, while I really do see the arguments for and against here, I think DICE are treating Hazard Zone as just another mode for Battlefield 2042. I feel as though they may have intended on launching it with a bit more confidence, maybe having it go free to play at some point and be Battlefield's answer to Warzone, but it doesn't look that way anymore. If this is the case, then there's no reason to make it free to play. I mean, by all means do free to play weekends and stuff, but if they're just going to treat it like Conquest or Breakthrough, then I don't see the point. Making Portal free to play for a limited time seems like a much better incentive for people to buy the game. Hazard Zone is a very niche mode that definitely wouldn't showcase the best 2042 has to offer. Portal does. I feel like the game has plenty for launch, probably the most content we've had for a Battlefield game at launch in a long time. I know we're missing out on single player, but I really do think Portal is the answer to a lot of the questions we have. If we're given the tools to make what we want, then 2042 could see an extremely lengthy life cycle. And who knows, like I mentioned, maybe DICE, Criterion or Ripple Effect have a secret fourth mode in the works to launch a little later. Maybe this fourth mode will be the free-to-play element we're looking for. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, thank you for watching. For more Battlefield 2042 content, tickle that subscribe button. I would really appreciate that. Until the next one though, I'll see you lads later.